All right, what's up, guys? The worst duelist here. So I'm doing a bit of a format of video I don't really do too often, just because it's not exactly my forte. I don't really like making prediction style videos on like how good or bad something will be, but I just want to talk about this leader because I am interested in it. Because honestly, the last couple blue decks we've had have been kind of a flop. I don't really like Sin. I don't think it's really particularly too good either, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. Honestly, I'm not really too sure how I feel about Gotenks either, but I am interested in it because I like the character for one, and also some of these cards can be used for Blue Gohan. So if you saw my community post, I actually have been testing Blue Gohan. I'm probably going to print this deck out soon too and start testing it just to see, you know, kind of how the early testing goes, right? Going to play a lot of the archetype stuff in the beginning and then kind of just go from there. But I'm really kind of skeptical about this deck right now because while it does have some pretty powerful effects, like this Goku's really strong, this Gotenks is also particularly pretty strong as well, I don't know like how well this deck's going to be able to keep hand advantage. That's going to be kind of my main concern. You'll kind of probably see what I mean as we kind of go over the really, admittedly, just a handful of cards that we got here. It's like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only 13 cards. But there is a lot of stuff that you can play from previous sets that could go in this deck as well. But it's kind of crazy we only got 13 cards for this whole archetype beyond what is like kind of rollover from just blue and Blue Gohan. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the leader itself. So the front's normal. It's when attacking, draw, awaken on 4, draw when you flip. The back is when attacking, draw. Active main, whenever you have used an extra with Saiyan and Earthling and its special traits, it gains plus 15. So that is pretty cool. It's kind of like Power Crept. It's kind of like Power Crept Blue Vegeta, right? Because there's no 7 or fewer restriction. You just have to have used an extra that is like within the Gotenks / Gohan archetype. But we already have a few of these. There's only 4 extras right now before what we get from this set that is specifically for Gotenks. That obviously those cards will work better with Gotenks because you'll kind of see that all of the extras from this set have a permanent that reduce their cost in hand by 2 if you have a 4-drop Gotenks on board, I think. Or I need a refresher too, but we'll take a look at it. So obviously a really powerful effect, right? Normal leader, draws on flip, draws an attack, and he's a 35 swing, ideally, right? So how consistent that's going to be kind of the toss-up, right? I remember whenever Cell was first coming out, I was kind of concerned about that leader as well because it's a conditional draw, and it's a conditional 40. Granted, Cell ended up being incredibly consistent, obviously, going on to be probably, honestly, maybe even more notorious than Topku. Probably not quite that bad, right? Because you can still play other decks, but nonetheless, it's probably the best deck in the game at current. So yeah, I think the effect is pretty strong. It's kind of similar in that of a conditional high-power boss card as your leader. So that's a good start, right? 35 swing on the leader, it's definitely a good start. The first card we have to look at is the Fat Gotenks. Active main, pitch a card, put it in your drop, and then if your leader is Gotenks, you play a Goten and a Trunks, both of the cost of 2 in rest mode. So this card is kind of one of the main cards that I'm really iffy on right now because this card seems very neg on paper, but if you combo this with the appropriate guys from drop, then it actually ends up being a break even, which we can kind of discuss as we move on. I really wish this guy had 10k combo. That's kind of the main thing about this guy is, you know, he makes you pitch. He's technically like a swing, like you can swing with him and combo a cantrip. And then he's a 15 swing on its front side, and I guess the idea is like you play the guys and then you play a big boss card after that, and then you can like attack with your leader maybe or whatever. But yeah, anyway, it is a powerful effect, but at first glance I was like, I don't know if this is going to end up being neg. There is obviously all of the new Gotens and Trunks that you can play from this stuff, but then there's also stuff like the old Goten from, I think it was like the starter deck. 7 or fewer in your hand, you draw a card. And then there's the stuff that's from Blue Gohan. Those cards are particularly weak, but we'll kind of talk about those towards the end when I talk about other cards that you could run in this deck. But yeah, so that's this Gotenks. I have a deck list as well at the end of the video. There is 4 in the deck at current, but the deck at the end of the video is not tested at all. It's just on paper, in theory, how I'm going to probably start with the deck and then kind of evolve it as I go. So, but yeah, that's the Fat Gotenks. Definitely a powerful effect, but I just don't know how practical it's going to be, right? Because a lot of what Gohan's initial issue was you kind of hemorrhage cards out of your hand, which definitely is not where we want to be with the with Gotenks. So, all right, so next card to take a look at is going to be the Skinny Gotenks. Pretty similar card. It's just 1-drop 10k combo, which is nice. So I definitely have 4 of these in there as of right now as well, because it's 10k combo. And it does have its application. So what it does is on play, draw one, trash one. So you set up your combos with the fat Gotenks potentially, and you can just set up some other plays as well. But yeah, draw one, trash one, and then active main, you put them in your drop. And if your leader is Gotenks, you add an extra 3 or less, say an Earthling. So you add one of the Gotenks extras back. I don't know how useful this card's really going to be, but it is recursion for your extras, which you do need for your leader's effect, and at worst it's 10k, and it does cycle a card as well. So not the greatest card. I really wish this guy just drew and was a 5. I could have lived with that. I really wish that the combo power was swapped on the Skinny and the fat Gotenks, and this guy just was a cantrip with the extra effect. He could have been a 0 even, and if the fat Gotenks just had 10k, I probably could have lived with that as well. But yeah, I don't know. It seems all right. Again, I'm going to start with 4, but obviously late game, it's going to be important to be able to get your extras back. He's a 1 cost. The extras only cost 1 if you're using the new ones. So yeah, it could have its uses. So we'll see. Then we have the Goten and the Trunks, and then the double card. So we'll talk about these guys. Permanent, if you don't have a Goten in your battle area, he's a 1-drop, so that's pretty good. It's 1-10-10, or 2-10-10, but you pay 1 for him if you don't have a Goten. And then both him and the Trunks have the same effect. Active main, pay an energy, put it in your drop with the other Shittler. And then if your leader is Gotenks, you draw a card and you play a 4-cost Gotenks. So you get to play any of the new guys or the 2 older 4-cost Gotenks that we have. Well, actually there's 3, but the one from Blue Vegeta's ass, so you wouldn't play that one. There's some merit maybe to play the other 2, but it's neither here nor there. And then the Trunks is the exact same thing. If you don't have a Trunks, the 1-drop, you pay energy, and then you set a Goten, and then you draw a card and play the 4-drop. So obviously, you can play both these guys for 1, so you can do it for 2 energy if you don't have anything. You know, if you're just like playing these guys dry, you do it for 2 energy, then you pay 1, so 3 gets you a 4-cost Gotenks. But all this is done from your hand, so that's kind of obviously not great. I think obviously the intent is you play them off of this guy, and then the double card is on play if your leader's Gotenks and you have an extra in your drop period, you get to add a Gotenks to the cost of 4 from your drop to your hand. So it's like you can pitch an extra here, get it back with this guy later. You can pitch a one of the 2 shitlords from this, and then like swing and maybe combo the other one, or swing with leading combo the other one, and then you can you know, active main, pitch a card. Like I said, you can pitch the other of the Goten and Trunks. You play out either one of these 2, and then you play out the double card. You add back the 4-drop, which you theoretically pitched off one of these, right? Or however you end up doing it. And then you get to play it from your hand and draw a card. That's kind of what I mean by you can sort of break even off of this guy, because you play him, you pitch a card, you play back the 2 guys, and he goes in your drop, and then you draw a card, and then you add back this, right? So don't necessarily go plus, but you get 2 cards back and you still end up with a body on board, right? Because you started with this, you end with one of the 4-drops, and then you draw a card, and then you got a card back, right? Which does get played from your hand, but it ends up being a break even, so to speak, right? So definitely not bad. I think these guys are probably 4-ofs each. I mean, they're 10k combo, and they're kind of the main engine of the deck. Even this guy, I think, is pretty good. At first, I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this card. I don't really ever want to pay 2 for it. And I was like, oh, you don't pay 2 for it. You just play it off this. But obviously, that requires some setup, right? And this is kind of part of what I am a little bit uncertain about with this deck is it's very, like, wombo combo-y, and I think the Yu-Gi-Oh player in me is kind of afraid of anything that's like 3 to 4 card combos, because that's like your deck is like tier 90 if you have 3-4 card combos. But Dragon Ball is obviously a different game than Yu-Gi-Oh, and a very consistent game. So kind of what I was thinking about Cell as well, and obviously it's like one of the most consistent decks in the game. That deck does have a top searcher. This deck can theoretically have a top searcher as well if you'd like to play the card, but Yeah, we'll actually talk about the extras after we finish out the battle cards. This Gotenks is very simple, 425.5, and then when you play him, you check top 7, you add an extra. We've seen this kind of effect before. Dr. Brief's spaceship, the one-drop ball muff from Kid Coup. This effect's okay. It's like, obviously, if you really, really need that piece, you can find it. But it bottom decks a lot of stuff, so you can kind of end up losing some games because of that, because you're bottom decking either like super combos or like other combo pieces that you need. So currently, like, I'm not the biggest fan of this card. I'll probably test it to some degree, but the second effect is when KO'd, if your leaders go tanks, you play the 2 shitlers from your drop, both of cost of 2. So you can't get the cantrip or like the older, the older guys. So except for like the blue Gohan one, the other Goten, but yeah, whatever. We'll talk about those later. I think this card's kind of mid. I'll probably try it, but it seems kind of mid. But yeah, I mean, it's just another consistency piece. It does have combo power, so that's nice. There's this Gotenks, 425.5. If you use an extra this turn, original cost of 3 with a trade, blah blah blah, you can restand him, active main. So it's a dual attacker. So this is probably going to be like an aggressive deck, so this will be like a useful card to some degree, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know how much I'm interested in this card either over something like maybe the older Gotenks from SB04. But I feel like this card could have its place, and I'm going to try it in my early builds for sure. And then we have this guy. This is definitely like probably the best one of the new guys. So when attacking once per turn, if you use an extra, blah blah blah, 3 or less, whatever, 3 or more, whatever, Sand and Earthlings, you draw 2 cards. So yeah, I mean, this guy's when attacking, draw 2. Obviously that's strong, and he's a 30 swing. This card is insanely good in Blue Gohan, and obviously this is probably going to be like your go-to guy that you really want to play off of, the 2 drops. So yeah, that's this Gotenks, probably the best one. Then we'll talk about the Goku last. We'll go for this Gohan. This card's nuts. This card in Blue Gohan is crazy, so it's obviously going to be good in this deck too, because it's kind of going to fulfill the same thing. So this guy's a 435. Permanent if your leader is both Saiyan and Earthlings. Gotenks and Gohan are the 2 leaders that have those traits. And if a Gotenks the cost of 4 in your battle area, reduce the card of the cost. Reduce the cost of this card from your hand by 2. So it's a 2-drop in hand, right? So it's a 2-drop 30k with 5k combo. This is basically a blue Dabura. If anyone is familiar with the yellow Dabura from Fat Boo's archetype, that card's nuts. This card's even better, because on play, the next time that you would use an extra, any extra by the way, it doesn't even have to be the archetype stuff, the cost is reduced by 1 blue. This card's crazy. This is probably the best card from this support. That other 4-drop Gotenks, this guy, this is the best Gotenks. This is definitely the best card from this support. Because all the extras, like I said kind of early on, they all are 1-drops in your hand if you have a Gotenks. Which if you have this guy on your board, you have a Gotenks, right? So then you just play them for free, which is absolutely insane. And he's a 30 swing. So yeah, this card's nuts. Problem being is, well, in a in a meta where self-destruct is at 4, it's going to be kind of hard to stick a Gotenks. The card's a 1-drop. They can just blow up a cantrip. It doesn't matter how early you play that into cell, it's going to get blown up. But obviously into other stuff, yellow, most of the time, it's only going to be able to freeze Gotenks. And then other decks just may not be able to remove it. I mean, Sin Shenron can bottom deck it with like Burst Attack or something, but then they're not Dragon Thundering. So, it's going to be kind of neither here nor there. There's some decks that just literally won't be able to remove it. A lot of green decks just won't be able to kill it, except for like Giblet, and maybe Green Gohan can remove Gohan and stuff, or Gotenks as well. But yeah, if you can stick a Gotenks as early as like turn 2 or 3, or like 2 in the marker, this card goes insane. So this is definitely the best card. And then what is probably intended to be the boss card as of right now, because there technically is like 2 or 3 cards for this deck that aren't revealed. But what is currently the intended boss monster of the deck is going to be the Son Goku. When attacking, so it's 430. When attacking, if your leader's Gotenks, you play both Goten and Trunks from your drop, just for free, rested. So it's just going to obviously allow you to get 2 30k bodies on 4 in the marker or 5 energy. So that's, I mean, it's pretty strong. So this card's definitely good. I have some copies in the deck right now, but I don't know if this is going to be like a staple 4 of kind of situation or what. Because obviously in a deck that is extra focused and also playing these Gotenkses and some of the older Gotenkses, there's going to be a lot of zeros in your deck, so you don't really want to stack up too much on those, especially because these 4 are only 10s, and if we play 4, 4, and 4, that's 16, 20 with super combos. It's not even half the deck is 10Ks, right? And then 4 of those are super combos, so I digress. And this card's obviously going to be a 4 as well. Just like no matter how you build the deck, I think you just play 4 of this guy. This guy's insane. So let's talk about the extras. First one is Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack. This is probably the second weakest one, in my opinion. All it does, it's really simple. All of them have this permanent. If your leader is Gotenks, if a Gotenks costs 4 in your battle area, it's a 1-drop. So all of them have this effect. Active main, you choose a Gotenks that costs a 4, so you can't choose your leader, which is really unfortunate, but you give it plus 25. So obviously this card is meant to be played with this guy to make him a dual 50, which is, I mean, that's strong. Don't get me wrong. That's pretty crazy. Dual 50 is pretty good, especially if you're going this guy and this guy in the same turn, right? If you're doing like this for 1, this for 1, play out this guy, this for 2, and then this for 0, make this guy 50 on a 4 energy turn or 3 in the marker. That's kind of nuts. And then your leader is also going to be a 35 swing. So you go 50, 50, 30, 35. Again, you kind of have the stones, that's what you're doing. I don't know how, I mean, you're kind of hemorrhaging cards, right? Because if you're playing this guy off the Fat Gotenks, right, you're at least going to draw 2 cards, right? So then you can go +2 because you, well, you can go +1, right? You go +1 because you're breaking even off this guy, and then you get to draw 2. So you gain the card back in hand from this, and then you draw a card as well. But even then, this buffing any of these, and even the old ones, is really good. This on the SB04 Gotenks, if you have the 10 in drop, that's going to be a 60 swing, right? So definitely powerful. And I really like this card. I think I'll probably play 2 of this, but it's also going to just depend, right? This would probably be a really good finisher card. That could be like a really good finisher turn, right? Play this guy out for 1, play this guy out for 2, leader buff, and then this, right? That's a lot of swings. So that could probably be like your finisher turn. So this guy, yeah, this card is definitely the weakest one. As of right now, because there's going to be at least 1 more extra, I think. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm making this a little premature, but I just really wanted to get a video out talking about the deck. So same permanent, it's a 1-drop if you have a 4-cost Gotenks. Active main, you choose a battle card in your opponent's battle area with a cost less than or equal to the total cost of battle cards in your battle area and place them at the bottom of your owner's deck. So obviously, like, the intent of this card is like, you get to bottom deck 4-drops for 0 because you are living in Magic Christmas Land where you have a Gotenks from last turn, you play this guy, you play this guy, you get the 2 bodies out for free, and then you free play this and bottom deck a 4-drop. I just don't think this card's going to be very consistent, and I don't think there's much of a reason to play this when the next card exists. Who knows, I could be wrong, this might be the nuts, right? Because if you have leftover cantrips, you can bottom deck some high cost cards, but I think this is probably the weakest one, at least on paper. This card's kind of crazy, but we'll have to see how it really works out. This is probably going to be your main removal for this deck. And it's obviously really good into like low to the ground stuff. So let me just read the effect. Same permanent. Discard a card from your hand. Choose all battle cards 3 or less in your opponent's battle area and bottom deck them. So it's a board wipe basically against stuff that's like Green Vegeta. It's like technically has applications against stuff like Ginyu Force, Giblet, you know, just rat decks, right? Like any like aggro red deck, like old school aggro red deck, it's good against. I know I unironically brought up Ginyu in this video, cringe, I know, but whatever. Yeah, this card's crazy. This is really powerful, so it's going to really help you combat those low-to-the-ground aggro decks, so. I think I have 3 of this one in the deck right now, and I think I may even just swap to 3 of this, because I feel like this one probably has the most application. I really wish this card could buff your leader, but yeah, whatever. Because a 60k leader would be kind of crazy. But yeah, that's going to be the Gotenks archetype stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just pull up some like honorable mention kind of cards, so that you can just play in the deck if you'd like. Alright, so we have a little collection of some stuff from older support, with the exception of this guy. I only put this guy here to say, man, it's really sad. I take back what I said. I wish this card wasn't leader locked. This card would be nuts in this deck. But yeah, this guy you can't play, so that's why he's here. But here's some stuff that you could theoretically play in the deck. So the SB04 Gotenks, really simple card. 10 or more in drop, it gets 5, so it's a 35. So it's 4, 30, 0, 35 if you have 10 to drop. Mill 2, bottom deck at 3 cost. Very solid card. You could definitely play this. Only problem, it's got no combo power. So yeah, that's that guy. There's this 1-cost Goten. Because most of the stuff calls for 2 costs, you likely won't play these guys. But, I mean, it's a Goten, so you could theoretically play it. It's got 10k combo. It bounces a 2 or less. But yeah, you probably won't end up playing any of the 1-drop guys. That kind of also goes for this Trunks. Unfortunately, you can't use this for the fusion, right? Otherwise, it'd be so easy to include this card, right? You play him, you draw a card, and then you send the Goten and draw another card. But unfortunately, you can't do that. But yeah, The 2-drop Gotenks, this card's just searchable in the deck. It's a searchable 10k, and it's a life taker. And you have 10 or more cards in your drop. It's a 25 swing, so it is a cheap swing. It is potentially an option. I don't know. This was Gohan support, but like, why would I ever play this in Gohan over? Because this came out in the same set as the Milku. So like, why would I ever play this card in Gohan over the Milku? But I guess if you want to just keep cards in deck and not mill super combos and stuff, but whatever. You want to reach 10 and drop for Gohan anyway, so. But yeah, that's the 2-drop Gotenks. There's this Goten. If you have 7 or fewer in your hand, you draw a card. This might actually be okay with the fat Gotenks, right? Because like, you may be able to do something similar, like I was saying with the Cantrip Trunks, because you're playing him, you're pitching a card, so you're going down. So you can likely play this guy to get that +1. Well, not a +1, but get the draw, right? To ultimately get you an extra card, right? Because you weren't supposed to get that card. And you probably will be at 7 or fewer, except maybe some later points in the game, right? That's kind of the thing. If you can stick that 4-drop Gotenks and start drawing 2, then you might end up accumulating a really large hand. Because, I mean, the leader draws on flip and draws on swing, so, and the leader doesn't discard for anything, so that's pretty nice. But it's definitely an option to consider, right? Because if you're low on cards, it can help you regain some advantage back. Kind of what this card was always used for, right? So there's been iterations of Blue Gohan where I played this guy off of like the 3-drop Skinny Gotenks, which is also in here that we can talk about. So yeah, that's him. There's this Goten, 2, 15, 10. You add a life when he attacks, so that's good at least. Because you can continuously add life, but he's only a 15 poke. If you have 7 or fewer, you can bounce the 2-drop. You're probably never going to get that effect, especially if you're drawing from life off this guy. But it is an option, so I included it in this section. Piccolo, I think I'm definitely going to play this card. Originally, I didn't have it in my list, but then I just bumped the list up over 50 and just put this guy in, because this searches so many cards. But the only problem is the bottom deck's the fusion pieces, so maybe it's better off just playing a cantrip, but we'll have to see about that one. But check top 5, add a Gotenks. Pretty good. Or you can add an extra. Any extra, by the way. So it's not even restricted to just the Gotenk stuff. You can add like Vital Hope Splash if you wanted to play it, right? Because Gohan makes that for 0, so you technically could. But yeah, this Piccolo, probably something that we'll play if you need the top searcher. We may find that the deck is consistent enough where you don't even really need this card. So, but yeah, that's the Piccolo. This Gotenks, I'll be honest, I think this guy kind of sucks. 430. I tested this whenever the 2-drop Gotenks for Gohan came out, and I was thinking that it might actually be kind of okay, because you're not playing him off of confidence, you're playing him from hand. But now it's just kind of bricky. But it's mill 2, then if you have 10 or more in your drop, you draw a card. So that's actually not bad, and it has crit, but it's just kind of a brick, and it's not removable. It's like super good if you get it out really early, but if you're not getting the draw, it's like kind of not great. But yeah, that's the promo Gotenks from a while back. This card sucks. It's just counted as both names while it is in all areas, so even your deck, I guess. Yeah, this card sucks. 2 2010. I mean, it's basically pack filler from set 3. This guy, though, this was a consideration I was thinking about, but I just don't know, because the 1-drop Gotenks is probably just better, but this guy's just less neg, but he's more expensive. He's 10k, so it's a bit of a toss-up for me about this guy. But I do like this card. I've tried this card in older iterations of Blue Gohan, and it's definitely a fun card to play with. It's just a little awkward at times. So it's 3 20 10 active main. You put it in your drop. If you have 10 cards in your drop, you play a Goten and a Trunks. Both the cost are 2 or less in rest mode. So you can play the fusion pieces, which is nice. But the only thing is, it's just expensive, right? You end up paying 4 to play the Gotenks anyway, which kind of defeats the purpose of like the whole thing, where you get to get it out cheaper, but you're not going down on card, like you're not pitching a card, and you get a swing for not, and you don't have to combo anything, or you can even combo up on this and make it 30. So, I mean, it's definitely an okay card, but it requires a bit of setup. It's kind of like a late game thing. But yeah, I was thinking maybe this could be an option. This is probably one of the more likely contenders, along with that 2-cost 7 or fewer Goten. So, yeah, that's him. This card sucks. I mean, it gets 2 cards back, but you have to have 7 or fewer. It doesn't suck, it's just probably just completely outscaled. Like, why would I play this over like the dual attack guy? Really in any situation, just because like, rather than me getting back 2 10s, I'm applying double swing pressure and keeping all my cards in hand. It's gonna depend though on what Gotenks is, hand size looks like, because you may find that you're kind of low on hand size, and this card might actually have some application. But in the grand scheme of like blue as a color, this card's kind of not that strong anymore. But it is an option, so it's definitely something to keep in your back pocket. This guy's kind of mid, but it's like also sort of okay. So on play, you draw a life. And then when you attack, you can draw and trash one, which can set up your fusions. Obviously, this is meant to set up stuff for Blue Gohan. It's a Blue Gohan card. It is a searchable 10k. It is an early swing. I don't know. It doesn't have a 7 or fewer restriction, so it could be better than that Goten, but I don't know if this card has a place in the deck. It's just an option. These guys suck. If you have 10 or more in your drop, your leader gets 5. This actually isn't terrible because it makes your leader a 40 swing, but I mean, I don't know. It's like fine. You can play it from drop, maybe like a one of, because it's kind of funny to make your leader a 40k Vegito moment, but you know, whatever. Card's kind of mid. You won't play this because it's a one drop, but it is a swing. But yeah, it's a skillless. This guy, blocker, take a life, 10k, I guess. It's like fine. I think I'd rather play a swing for a 2-drop life taker. But yeah, it's not searchable. You can play it off your guys and drop. 10 or more and drop, choose a 3 or less and bounce it when this guy's played. So this card's okay too, right? Like it gives you like a little bit of just removal for free. So this could probably be a consideration. I think this is a bit more of a consideration than the Goten, but it's 5k combo, so I don't really like that about it. But it does, I mean, it's a free bounce, right? Because you just play it from drop for free, so you just get a free bounce. Definitely something to consider. This guy takes a life, 7 or fewer, he's at 25. It's okay, it's a 10k combo. This card's not bad. I think this one's also better than the Gotenks the Goten from the starter. Because obviously you were supposed to like add these guys back off of the 4-drop Gotenks. Whatever. This guy sucks. It just reduces the cost of the thing by 1 if you have 7 or fewer when it's played. I guess there's applications with like Boo Boo Volleyball or like Die Missile Barrage, but yeah, the card's not great. So yeah, that's going to be all of the stuff that you can play for the deck. Now let's look at my example deck and then kind of close out the video. All right, so this is the deck list that I was probably going to use as my jumping off point. It's kind of straightforward. There's not really going to be a ton to talk about in this because I haven't even really tested it. But some of the non-archetype stuff, I think Mai is probably pretty good in this deck because, I mean, I think this is a deck that is trying to play an aggro style. The backside is an aggro type effect. You could probably play High Life. I know Doc is probably going to try to play this High Life. Whatever, he does that with every blue deck. It's fine. It's his play style. I think you probably want to fast flip, not fast flip, or just have the option to have the cheap awaken, because you can cheap awaken, you can cheap play a fusion material, and then you can obviously play a Gotenks for cheap. So this might be a good card to have in your back pocket. You're never going to get the other effect, but it doesn't really matter. She takes 2 life. It's also good against anything that's trying to stall you, like Bulma, Black Shenron, Yellow decks, etc. Like all those kind of decks, you can just awaken whatever you want. Piccolo, again, I figured that this card's probably pretty good in this deck because it searches like so many cards. It searches this, all of the extras, and maybe the 3-drop Gotenks if you play it, or some of the other Gotenkses, the 2-drops if you play them too. It can search those cards. I'm starting with 4 of this. Again, I don't know how good it's going to be. 4 of this as well, just because it's a searchable 10k, and it does give you recursion for your extras because, well, our leader does need an extra to be played for its effect to go off. So, but again, it may not end up being that important because you can search the extras, and you also, I mean, we have 8 extras in the deck right now, so yeah. I'm going with this guy. This is the Mill Goku from SB05. This is just a cool manga art. Take a life, Mill 3, because you do want some grave setup. Obviously, Blind Mill, not exactly the best, which is where maybe that 10k Gotenks could come in here. The 10 or more drop, he's at 25. Or maybe you could play the Crit Vegeta. You could also play if you wanted to, you could play the 2-drop Mill Vegeta. There's other 2-drop life takers you could play. I was going to start with this and then see how the Mill plays out, see if it's bad, see if it's helpful, or whatever, right? So I was going to start with this and then kind of go from there. But I like that he's a 20 swing. I just like this Goku, so, and he's also 10k, so it's nice. And also, the goat is in the artwork, so, I mean, come on. Literally our boy. And Ultimate Rice down here. So yeah, for this, I mean, this whole suite is going to be like a no-brainer. I think these are all 4 ofs because all of them are supposed to combo off the fat guy. And also, they're kind of just good, right? And also, they're really good for the Goku as well. I was going to try 3 of this, and then if it sucks or if it's like underwhelming, I'll probably go for the SB04 Gotenks. I'll probably mess around with the Top Searcher one as well. I mean, and if it ends up working out, maybe I'll play the starter deck Gotenks that adds 2 10Ks back. So we'll just have to see how that goes, right? 3 of this, it might be a 4 of, but it's like you can search this, and I feel like it's pretty likely that you're gonna run into at least one of these, right? But the draw guy is the best one, so it could definitely go to 4. It's just a matter of the deck's already 55 cards, so I didn't really want to go too heavier in that. But playing over 50 in a deck like this is kind of nice because, I mean, you are going to draw a lot of cards for 1, and for 2, you know, you are playing a lot of zeros, so adding cards kind of helps supplement the zeros to a degree. It's a bit of a, I feel like that's a bit of like Stockholm Syndrome or whatever the fucking one is, but anyway, yeah, I might be coping on that is my point. Just 3 of this as of right now. I want to do 4, but I wanted to test the extras heavier first. Like I said in the earlier section, this is probably a 4 of, but I'm going to probably just start with 3 and then see how it goes. Because again, I did want to make sure that I can test these and see, is 8 too much? Is 7 a good number? Can I get away with 6? Can I get away with 5? But we'll have to see how that goes. Because, I mean, you can get them back with this, so we'll have to see what happens with that. I'm just starting with 2 of this, and depending on how powerful it is, it could go to 3. I don't think you play 4 of this, though. I think really the only 4 of the top-end stuff is going to be Gohan and this Gotenks. 4 supers, and then 3 Die, 3 Ghost Kamikaze, because I like the big swing, and it's like you play it for free off this, so that's kind of nice. And then this one's also kind of an easy charge or easy pitch for this. Or this, so yeah. And then 2 donuts. So the reason I added this in is because drawing 4 is crazy off this guy, and if you stuck one of these, you can still on 4 energy go 2 for the Gohan, and then you can go 2 for Galactic Donuts, stun something, draw 4, 30, 30, 35. That's a lot of pressure. Like, that's pretty good tempo. It's just the fact that it's not a 1-drop like the other ones where you don't get the free play it, where I'm like, I don't know if we go 3 to 4 of this. But obviously, draw 2 and stun. Galactic Donuts is like a crazy powerful card. Let me move my cam over here. But yeah, 2 Galactic Donuts, pretty strong. So this is my early list. This is what I'm going to try at least. I figured I could share it with you guys. Do with this, you know, kind of what you will. But let me know if you like this style of video. I might do some other sort of archetype breakdowns for the stuff that's coming up. If you guys enjoyed it, bit of a long form video. Again, not exactly my thing. I'm not really, I try not to be much of a yapper whenever I do my vids. Unless I really have a lot to say about a deck that is, you know, not exactly explored as much. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.